Kamen Rider Zi-O.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a, I don't know why I did this, just Dawson Rider here with a review for Kamen Rider Zi-O episode 4. So this was the conclusion of the X-Aid two-parter. Man, I don't know about this show, guys. I'm so mixed on it. Like, I've mentioned before that it kind of has to be one of those shows that you have to at least turn part of your brain off and just enjoy it. And I've been trying it, but there's just so many little inconsistencies and things that bother me that I have a hard time, and I keep tripping over myself with it. And you know, at the core of it, I keep thinking, well, you know what, I should at least enjoy the cameos. You know, they got actual cast back, and there's fun little moments in it, fun little callbacks to bits in the series. They did that with Build, you know, with the best match of you know, Sento and Banjo, and the poses, which they did this week when he transformed into the X-Aid armor. You got the pose, the way he transforms is similar to X-Aid transformation. You get him doing like a dual little catchphrase with M, which was neat. I appreciate that. Various little nods to things in the series. One example being, you know, Hiro cutting the cake. Like, that sounds weird, but you know what I mean? Like, he used to cut cake surgically all the time when he was eating sweets. So, like, that type of stuff. But I almost feel like it's almost too few and far between, which is something that I usually don't find myself saying, because like I said, I'm a little bit exhausted of all the anniversary stuff. But I was thinking, like, you know, if the plot's going to be kind of a mess, and that's not where I'm going to find my enjoyment, let's at least enjoy this. Which I'm not saying I'm not enjoying the stuff I just talked about, but it's a weird vibe when I think about it. I mean, we're so soon in. I feel like I'm talking like we're halfway in. But just based on these two cameo episodes alone from the Build cast members and now the X-Aid cast members, it feels weird. Like, it doesn't feel like as much of a team-up cameo as usual, or for Sentai, Rider, or PR, because I feel like half the time they don't know who they are, and we're going in this weird back and forth bit between the past and the future, and then knowing and not knowing. And so I feel like I never really get to fully enjoy the returning character, if that makes any sense. So I don't know, it's weird. And then I watched the .5s, guys. I watched 3.5 and 4.5, and I have to say, they're probably my favorite thing about the series at the moment. They're probably the most well-written, which sounds weird. It's like a good combo of kind of giving you some really meta humor combined with some explainers. But 3.5 and 4.5, I felt were weirder too. Like 1.5 basically was a recap, and 2.5 actually was kind of helpful in plotting out the main mechanics of how this is going to work. And then 3.5 and 4.5 felt had less of that and was a little just bit more nuts, which was fun. It was like weird and funny, and I liked that. I'd like to see more of a mix of helping me sort through this. It's like Talking Dead, but it's like 4 minutes long and I need help. And so I want like the explainers and the meta stuff, but I appreciated little details in it. Like in 4.5 they had like the pause sound effect voice from Kronos, and my #1 favorite little Easter egg, which was when they slowed things down, they used the sound effect that would happen in Drive when, you know, global freeze type stuff happened. That was neat. For a split second I was like, is that from X-Aid? I'm like, oh no, that's Drive. But yeah, it's just kind of confusing. And let me circle back to Build's thing for a second, because it's going to tie to this. I mentioned how I kind of liked, which I still do in a way, that it was like this little loop where Zi-O got the watch from Build, and then he gave it to past Build so he could give to him. But someone mentioned in the comments for that, I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, but that it's not a clean loop. And that's kind of what happened here again. And I felt it was even more confusing. And it also doesn't help that we're time traveling to so short in the past that you can't get a significant grasp sometimes on the differences, or sometimes I forget where we are, because it's not like, okay, I'm traveling to 1980 and we're gonna see, oh, this is gonna reverberate through time. It's like, oh, I'm traveling to last Thursday to stop you from getting that poison Burger King or something. And it's like, so it's hard to differentiate sometimes, so it creates low stakes. And I felt like last time with Build, because they briefly destroyed another rider or brought him down, that was what the split second that Build got the ride watch back to give to Zi-O. But this time he never took out the X-Aid one in the past, so I don't know how X-Aid was able to get the powers. And I don't know, how did the ride watches even happen anyway? I hope we get an explanation for that. I highly doubt it. I don't have enough faith that we're going to get an explanation of why it happens. And again, it's like I simultaneously get and don't get the mechanics. Like, I get it, you create another rider, the other one's wiped from continuity, basically. Another rider becomes the rider. There was never an X-Aid. The only X-Aid is this dude with his kid. But how does she just create a power out of nothing? Like, she puts a blank ride watch in him, takes it out, now it's X-Aid, and now how does she get that power? And then how does Zi-O's just manifest? How does the other rider get it? It's just, I hate that I'm hung up on all this, guys, but it's so simple, I would just love to know it. And it really is really messy time travel. Even in some more convoluted time travels, you can hiccup on some things that create like grandfather paradoxes and weird loops, but sometimes within the rules of that show that can make sense. But here I feel like they're all just tripping over each other and it's stopping me from enjoying it. I think mainly because I see a lot of potential here for some really cool timey-wimey storytelling that I would really dig, and they're just not pulling it off right, and it comes across as weird and messy. And if the writers are eliminated from existence, then wouldn't that mean Earth's done? Like, by the end of the series, if he wipes all the writers from existence, gathering their powers, Earth's definitely done, right? Because, like, all the villains would have never been stopped. Or does it wipe out everything related to them? Meaning, like, when he wiped Build out, Evolt's gone too? Like, when he wiped out Ex-Aid, Kronos, Dan, everyone, an antagonist? I could see that maybe working for them because they're tied to rider powers, but what about, like, the Grongi? Or, I don't know. Like, that's what's confusing, because if you wipe Ex-Aid from existence, or Build from existence, then they never saved anybody. So wouldn't it create more turmoil other than them just forgetting themselves? That's another mess. And something that also has been bothering me, which, again, we're only on our second adventure. We've had the Build adventure and the Ex-Aid adventure, both for us and for our protagonist. But every time, and by every time I mean these last 2 times, that he's gathered a rider power, Woz narrates it. Which, don't get me wrong, I kind of really like the fanfare for that debut. I think it's kind of neat. But, he's basically narrating, like, from this history book, and what I'm inferring is, like, yes, we're another step towards the journey to the grand Zi-O, because, you know, it's like it already happened. That's why I had a question about that in the first episode. I'm like, is he creating an alternate version to get to the same place, or is this how it always happened? Based on the way Woz talks, this is how it always went down, and this is the stuff that's gone down with Ex-Aid and Build was how he stole those powers. And so he's narrating to him like, yeah, you're another stepping stone towards it. And so if his whole goal is to stop this journey, shouldn't he want to do it differently? Because basically, it's kind of a messy situation because he needs to destroy the other rider to save people, but when he gets the rider power, he's destroying time. So, I get it, in the meta world, we're not just going to have him debut the Ex-Aid form and the Build form, and then give the powers back and never use those forms again, but it just makes no sense that he's like, oh yeah, I want to change history. And then you have this dude next to you saying, oh yeah, you're following the steps to the letter. And he's not wanting to change that? I don't know, maybe I'm alone in being confused on that. I at least kind of wish he would find another way to go about it, that they could still keep the powers somehow. I don't know, I'm kind of confused by it. Again, it bothers me. Sometimes I can let certain things go if they explain some things. I'm kind of hoping that happens, but right now it just, I'm trying, guys. Not like I'm not enjoying it, not like I'm sitting here watching it like it's enjoyable-ish. It's fun to watch, like in like a decade way, but I keep tripping over myself. I can't think of a better way to say it. Before I give my score and my final, you know, subscribe stuff, I want to say my favorite part of the episode was when he did the finisher in the Ex-Aid armor, and he like did a double take and looked at the screen where the critical graphics showed up. I thought that was neat. I thought that was funny. But yeah, overall, this was a weird episode for me. Like, I enjoyed parts of it, but I felt it was also kind of more of a mess. I'd probably give it like a 6.7, just kind of a weird score. Anyway, until next time, don't forget, comment, subscribe, and of course, don't forget to climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get the notifications for all my videos. Until next time, Kamen Rider, signing out.